Welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Less Known Classics. This is episode number 2199 and Doubleshot number 2093. Now, these two trades here are finales. One is the final trade, as far as I can tell to date, to feature a trade for this character, because this is the last one to review because there's nothing else left for this character to review. Unless, of course, you count his time with their team books, per se. And the other is a final trade that collects a writer's run for a book. And it's also final finale for that particular trade series because they haven't released any more since then. First, we have Black Lightning, Cold Dead Hands. And interesting little fun facts, this one. Number one, this actually is the first Black Lightning series that has been released. Well, his first thing released for him, solo-wise, since his feature from DC Universe Presents. Yep, is the first Black Lightning title since Black Lightning Year 1, which was released over a decade prior to this book coming out, which I had previously reviewed actually on the trade. Now, this is also going to be the final Black Lightning trade review because there is nothing else left to review, unless you count his time with the Outsiders. That's the only thing left to review for him. It's not with the Outsiders, or the Justice League, or any other guest star book he appears in. But solo-wise, this is the last thing to review. For basically trades that are specifically his, this is the last official one. Because DC, now, yes, DC did do the Black Lightning Volume 1 and Volume 2 trades, which I was very appreciative I get a chance to review those physically. But as far as I can tell, there is no other trades. And the first volume of that trade series just collect the original 11 issues plus one issue of World's Finest, issue 260, which that was supposed to be issue 12. And the very next book pretty much collects all of the spotlight appearances he made between his basically time, everything he appeared in between the end of his ongoing series and before he joined up with the Outsiders. And that's pretty much what that book served as. It's really short. It pretty much featured all the spotlight stuff he appeared in. And after that, nothing. And then we had the 90s book, which I reviewed in the last episode. And here we have Cold Dead Hands. Now, I have also reviewed Year 1. That was a miniseries. That kind of was a modern-day retelling of the original run. Now, Cold Dead Hands, now, according to Tony Isabella, this is sort of a semi-reboot of the character again. Now, this book does feature his daughters. Yes, Thunder and Lightning do briefly appear in the book. Very small role they play in the book, but mostly plays Black Lightning. Now, the book reads, it's all, now you're probably thinking, based on what content of this book, is it anything to do with what happened in 2020? No, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Now, this book basically has similar things with, of course, 90s run. And, of course, his original 70s run. Black Lightning being a constant vigilante. The police don't like him very much. In fact, he's wanted for murder. Despite the fact they have no evidence in the matter. The title itself is a reference to basically something Tony Isabella would say. Don't think like, you know, pry this keyboard for me is my cold, dead hands. That was a phrase he kept saying both in interview for this book and, of course, the Volume 2 book. And mostly put just Black Lightning is solving a series of murders. This book. Now, unlike the last book that he had, now, not counting Year 1, this book is set in Cleveland. Yes, Cleveland. It seems as though any book he has solo-wise, they keep changing city he's featured in, because in his original volume, he's set in Suicide Slum Metropolis. In the second volume, he's set in Brick City, and now here he's in Cleveland. Now, writing-wise, is he like Black Lightning? I can tell you this, but he writes them. Yes. He does a very new costume, which, yes, is completely obvious that this costume is inspired by the TV show. And the only reason why this book existed was to help sort of a loose advertisement for the TV show. Is this book canon to the TV show? No. As far as I can tell, it is not, per se. Because, number one, none of the characters are drawn like the actors on the TV show. And also, here's the thing. If you watch Black Lightning on TV, the Black Lightning actor is like a bodybuilder. This guy is normal size, still muscular, but not overly beefy. Now, aside from the same costume, it's a completely different character. But in the case of this book, Tony Isabella does a good job of this book. Now, the artwork for this book is done by two different artists, Clayton Henry and Vanel Goshet. Now, yes, of course, yes, it's the first time he's written Black Lightning since the 90s book. But here's the thing. I like the previous 2 volumes where he left before the book concluded. This book, he wrote the whole thing. All 6 issues. Now, I think we just prior to this one, we also had a mini-series called Vigilante Southland, which never finished publication. It was canceled. It was supposed to have 6 issues, but that got canceled to 3, presumably due to low sales, and also the fact it didn't feature Adrian Chase as a vigilante. That's my guess, anyways. Now, I get the reason. Now, another reason why I could think of why Black Lightning just has a miniseries, not an ongoing, per se, that would make sense, as Marvel would do promote the character, give an ongoing series. I think in the case of Black Lightning, yes, DC, he has a fan base, fine. But I think because they just want to help promote a TV show, which I'm sure DC is proud of the show itself. The show surprisingly lasted for 4 seasons. Now you might be thinking, based on the fact I mentioned the actor who played Black Lightning, did I watch the show? Yes, I did. I watched the first 4 episodes. Did I drop at the first 4 episodes? No, that's not the reason why. I got distracted by other stuff and just forgot to watch it. So the show's over, I can catch it anytime I want to. Yep. But this definitely is a good miniseries, and I'm pretty sure Neil Isabel managed to finish this book. Unlike his last 2 books he worked on, he didn't have to freaking finish because he left before the book was over with. Not really sure why the heck that was. If I could chance me Tony Isabel, I'm going to ask that question. Why did you leave both the first and second volume before the book concluded? That's a really good question. But as for the final Black Lightning trade, it's good. Is it the best Black Lightning book? I do gotta say it is slightly better than Volume 2. I would say tone-wise, it's similar to that, but I put it above Volume 2. Where would I put it? I would put it, like, if you think of, like, any worst book per se, I would rank the 4 books for Black Lightning. I would rank Volume 1 as the best one because I love Volume 1. I think it's fantastic. It's a good start for... Now, the thing with Black Lightning is he is very easy to get into. And I do mean he's very easy. Sorry about that, everybody knows. Now you're probably thinking, why is he easy to get into? Well, number 1, everything frames in trade. So, you don't have to look very far. Not really. All you gotta look for is like about 5 trades and you're done. Black Lightning Volume 1, Black Lightning Volume 2, Black Lightning Year 1, DC Universe's Black Lightning Blue Devil volume. This is, of course, from volume, I believe it was 2, I believe it was. And also, this book. And that's it. You have roughly 5 trades. And that's it. With that, you pretty much review everything from Black Lightning solo-wise. Yep. That's it. It's really quick. It won't take you very long. And you basically cover Black Lightning. Yep. But in the case of final thoughts on Black Lightning's solo work, none of the books are bad per se. But if what would be a number 2 just below the original volume? I would probably put there probably the same level. Probably just below that, put Year 1. That miniseries, because that miniseries was really good. Even Tony's been write it, I thought it was really good. I would put number 3 as basically the Coded Hands miniseries, and number 4 would be the Volume 2 book. Yep. Alright, now, of course, comes the final trade of Chris Claremont's time with the New Mutants. This is Mutants Classic Volume 7. This book contains issues 48 to 54. This is literally the end of Chris Claremont's run for the title. And you're thinking, really? It is? Yeah, it is. This is the end. Surprisingly, there's no more New Mutants Classic. I haven't seen more release since then. Though, in case you're curious, though, I will be reviewing in a future review Volume 5, the Volume 5 Epic Collection, just so I can, that one and Volume 8 in future reviews, so I can basically cap up this volume. Now, you might be thinking, is there any annuals featured in this book? I don't think so. Actually, there is. A number 3 is featured here too. Yes, it is. And when I finish talking about this book, I will discuss basically how many more trades are left to go for New Mutants. Which, honestly, there's not many. No, seriously, there's not many. Yep. So, we have more homaging stuff related to Chris Claremont. Case in point, Days Future Past, I believe it was Kenny X issue 144, which part 2 of the story. And look, this page here, it's obvious homage to the first issue cover. Yep, because they have time travel to the events of Days Future Past. Of course, Magneto was with Stevie. And by the way, her final appearance in the book to issue 94. Yeah, she makes one more appearance in this book, but it seems like Claremont just basically, well, it seems like he figured, though, oh, my run's over, let's just drop from the book featured in our books. Yep. And for some reason, it was said to look like Captain America for some reason. I don't know why. So. And then, of course, basically, like, do they eventually get back to the past? Well, they're still in the future, but in their next issue, they're, of course, on the run from them. And, of course, we have... It's basically the New Mutants in Days Future Past timeline. Yep. And then pretty much in the way, like... Oh, by the way, this guy here, that's Sunspot's father, who kind of disowned him after he found out his son was a mutant. So, and then we have issue 50, the last issue of Chris Claremont's run for the book. Yep. So basically, it's all to do with Limbo stuff, and pretty much with this issue, I think, in a way, we also get appearance by the Imperial Guard. And look, we have appearance here by Carol Danvers. Yes, the beautiful Carol Danvers, who at this point was binary. And by the way, it's just a guest star appearance. It's not a solo story for her. Solo stuff for her, I've got all those done. Yeah, she actually is one of 2 characters from Marvel Comics. I have gotten done all the solo stuff for her. The other, of course, being Kamala Khan. So, I do find this issue to be really good. And right after this one, Claremont will leave 4 issues later. Why? Just cause. And after this glorious 50th issue, and then we have basically more space stuff here with, well, New Mutants in Space and kind of the Starjammers and Xavier. Then we have the Goofy Annual, where you have, get this, we have Warlock versus the Impossible Man. And you're thinking, what? What? The Impossible Man versus Warlock? This is quite strange. And the whole issue, they're basically trying to top each other. And look, we have a dangerous simulation of the Avengers fighting the mutants. And then the Impossible Man shows up and fights off against Warlock. Yeah, it's basically who tries to outdo each other the whole annual. That's really the whole thing of this annual. The Impossible Man trying to outdo Warlock. Yep. 52 is more like, you know, they stuff related to the Massacre, which I believe I think it did happen this period of time. Yes, this issue here is basically the one issue of Mutant Massacre that basically deals with New Mutants. Yes, Mutant Massacre, you would think of it as a very controversial crossover because of the deaths. Now, there is not necessarily many deaths per se that happen in Uncanny X-Men. Mostly put 46 is their reaction to this book. That's what 46 was. 46 is not in the trade here, but it's more like 40. It's like 52. Then we have 53, where it seems like Doug Ram's about to kill somebody. Yep. And then we wrap it up. Wrap that with Chris Claremont's final issue, 54, where it's Karma taking on Celine and deal with her, and this just pretty good. It does start with issue 54, and then next we have Louise Simonson takes over the book with the very next issue. But the artwork here is by Justin Goose, Brett Vivens, Kellen Nolan, Rick Canardi, Sal Bushman, Al Davis. This is the end of Chris Claremont's run for the title. As the original writer, he did a great job with this book. No bad issue the whole run. Though I kind of felt this on the fact that the character Stevie Hunter was featured very early on, very frequently. And then throughout the later issues, she was featured less and less. As a matter of fact, she very rarely appears in comics. As a matter of fact, her most recent appearance was actually the third to last issue of Volume 4. Yes, seriously. But this book is really good. I do recommend checking it out. Mutants Classic, along with basically the Epic Collections, the first three, which collect most of the whole run. Now, of course, I will be discussing more Mutants with the Epic Collection Volume 5, which will be almost wrapping up Louise Simonson around the book. Yep. But yeah, that's particular view. Next episode is going to be Super Sentai, discussing 2 episodes. Okay, next video. Bye.